Sounds great. Now let's get back to the DVD series, Divine Mercy, and the second greatest story ever told. And in that series, you talk about some of the great apostles of the Divine Mercy, and you mentioned Saint Therese of Lisieux. It's interesting, Wendy, our floor manager, gave us a couple of roses today. She never did that before. So it must be from Saint Therese. So why don't you tell us about her?
You know, we Marians, we often talk about how the torch of divine mercy was passed from St. Faustina to Blessed Michael Sapochko to Father Joseph Yarshabaski, who's a Marian. But, you know, we could ask the question, well, who passed the torch of divine mercy on to St. Faustina? And now, of course, that was Jesus, but in a certain sense, it was also St. Therese. You know, she also kind of passed the torch on to St. Faustina.
And we'd love if you say a little bit more about that to our viewers.
Yeah, well, you know, St. Therese, she once appeared to St. Faustina. It was kind of funny, their conversation. St. Faustina was going through this big difficulty, and Therese appeared to her and was going to try and help her. But St. Faustina just kept bombarding her with all these questions. She's like, Therese, will I get to heaven? She said, yes, you'll get to heaven. She said, oh, no, but will I become a saint? And she said, yes, you'll become a saint. She said, oh, no, but will I be a saint like you? I'll be raised to the honors of the altar? And Therese's like, yes, you will, but you got to stop asking me all these questions. No, she didn't say that. No, she said, yes, you will be a saint, but you have to trust the Lord Jesus. And I love that little exchange between them because it really gets to the heart of the Divine Mercy message, you know, where Jesus wants us to trust in him. And the kind of the core of the Divine Mercy message is through his mercy, he wants to make us into saints. But in order to work that miracle of grace in us, he really needs our trust. And so the message of Therese, the message of Faustina is really, Jesus, I trust in you, that we would trust him so God can work that miracle of grace in us, of holiness.
You know, but trust isn't that easy. But it's one of the things I love about your new book, 33 Days of Merciful Love, which is about St. Therese. It really teaches us how to trust, which is so hard for many of us to do. But, you know, before I get to that, I want to say something about the book. You know, we did the article about it in Marian Helper magazine, as we just explained earlier in the show. And we talked about that in January, that the phone lines actually melted down. And I said, we're going to explain that. And that was because of the orders for this book. We had over 50,000 orders in the first few weeks, which is just beautiful. And my staff, again, has said, we've never seen anything like this. And these are people who've been here 30 years. And so I got to ask, what do you think struck such a chord with the people?
Yeah, I think it's really simple. The offer that we made for that was during Lent. And so I think people were saying, great, we're going to get a Father Gaitley book and it'll be a wonderful penance for Lent, right? No, actually, 33 Days to Merciful Love is actually a sequel to the book 33 Days to Morning Glory, which a lot of people had read. And so when they found out there was a sequel, a lot of people say, oh, great, we'll get this and we'll do it during Lent. But by the way, you know, it's a sequel that stands alone. You don't have to have read 33 Days to Morning Glory, but I think that's part of why there was such a response. But the other reason, more importantly, I think, is that people saw it as a really special opportunity, namely that they were invited to consecrate themselves to Divine Mercy in this great year of mercy on Divine Mercy Sunday. Because, as you remember, the starting date was March 1st, and there's like 50,000 people probably were going, you know, for 33 days preparing to consecrate themselves today on Divine Mercy Sunday. And I think it was that opportunity that really inspired so many people. But also, and I think it didn't hurt, you know, that you offered the book for free with any donation at the time, not now, but at the time. And that you also, I think you said something in the article about everybody saying, hey, tune in on EWTN on Mercy Sunday. You get to see me, or that is you, on Mercy Sunday. So I think everybody wanted to see you, Father Chris. I
not say just me, but also Father Mike to be able to see. But, you know, that's a beautiful gift. And live on the air, we're going to be consecrating in just a few minutes for our viewers out there. So please join us. If you have the book and you've prepared, please grab that. We're coming up. And, you know, even parishes are gathering together. Hello goes out to my own parish in Huntersville, North Carolina, to St. Mark's, and how beautiful that is. But Father Mike, before we begin the prayer of the consecration, please explain how, for those who have not yet gotten the book, how does this work?
Well, one thing is, you can still get the book. You can't do the preparation for today because it's Mercy Sunday already, but starting on April 12th is a 33-day preparation for Pentecost, which is a great day to do the consecration as well. So if people ordered today or tomorrow, they could probably get the book in time to start on April 12th, which is next Tuesday. So that's one thing. But for those who are wondering, well, what is this whole consecration about? I would summarize it by basically St. Therese. She had this insight where she looked deeply in the heart of Jesus, and she saw that the deep wound in the heart of Jesus is that he wants to pour out his merciful love, but that there's so many people who reject it. And that rejected merciful love comes back to Jesus, and it wounds his heart, and it causes him great pain. So St. Therese, for the purpose of consoling Jesus, she said, Lord, I want you to give to me all of that rejected mercy that other people don't want. And the Lord gave it to her, and it was beautiful. It set her on fire with merciful love. It became her offering to merciful love, her consecration to divine mercy. And, it was such a powerful thing in her life that they said, her whole spiritual life revolved around that consecration to divine mercy. It was really a summary of her whole little way. So it was really powerful.
So important in her life, and she's such a popular saint, and yet so many people have never heard of it.
Yeah, I call that Consecration Divine Mercy of St. Therese, or her offering to merciful love, one of the best kept secrets in the Catholic Church. But it shouldn't be, because it's a great gift. And, the reason why it's a great gift is it's like, the consecration of divine mercy, like Marian consecration, I think you could say it's one of the quickest, easiest, surest ways to become a saint. So we're all called to become saints. I don't know about you guys, but I need to find the quickest, easiest way to become a saint. And I just thank God that, in this great time of mercy, he's giving us these special tools, these special gifts that help us grow in holiness through his mercy.
It truly is a powerful gift, and not just for the individual, but for the whole world. And in fact, I think that's what struck people so much about this article. They could really help save the world. And so tell us, Father Mark, how does this consecration help save the world?
Well, it's